Hey everyone, and welcome back to another industry report. So, Red Dead Redemption 2 is releasing on the PC. However, it is clear that Rockstar are going to extreme lengths to secure as many beans as is possible, unveiling a rather crazy pre-order scheme and store rollout. They really don't want you buying this at Epic, and nothing's worse for them than you buying it on Steam, apparently. Now, to establish some context here, Rockstar launched the Rockstar Game Launcher last month, of course using the highly popular Grand Theft Auto Online to get as many initial signups as they could, as well as offering people legacy Rockstar games for free. So, you know, just what the average customer wants another launcher to deal with. Now, business-wise, the reasoning here could not be clearer. Steam charge a 30% cut below $10 million in revenue, 25% cut between $10 and $50 million, and 20% cut for revenue in excess of $50 million. Epic, of course, offer their rather competitive rate of 12% and have been known to, lube up their deals with sacks of cash, but turns out 0% is a lot better than 12%. Of course, by using their own launcher, Rockstar avoid store fees entirely. So yes, cut out the middleman and you'll earn more, assuming that middleman was not providing a lot of value for you. Now, in the case of Rockstar, I think they think their franchises are large to the point where really losing some store visibility just is not going to be a problem for them. Now, this is all in the pursuit of having a vertically integrated business model, like how, say, Sony will make money in the hardware, the accessories, the third-party games, and the first-party games, all because they own the PlayStation platform, like how Blizzard have Battle.net and have been able to totally avoid store charges. At worst, they've got to deal with customer service and payment processing. Now, here's the thing. Red Dead Redemption 2 sold staggeringly well on the consoles, 17 million copies in its first fortnight and 25 million copies in its first year. Truly incredible numbers, and you do well to remember that fortnightly number for later because it's going to be super relevant. Now, clearly Rockstar know that they're basically guaranteed millions of sales on the PC platform, and they know that many of those sales, like with the consoles, will be super soon after launch, especially because Red Dead Online is still in its infancy. So, because of all this stuff, here is what they're going to be doing. Red Dead Redemption 2 will be available to pre-order exclusively on the Rockstar Games Launcher on the 9th of October. Yes, even the pre-order has an exclusivity period. Now, pre-orders will then begin on Epic, Greenman, Humble, GameStop, and other online retailers starting October 23rd. Yeah, it's a pretty long exclusive pre-order window. The game itself is going to release on the 5th of November 2019. Now, you might be thinking, what about Steam? Well, with the 20% cut on revenue past $50 million and, a worse cut on revenue before that milestone, there is clearly nothing that Rockstar would want you to do less than to purchase that game on Steam, as Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be launching on Steam this December. Yes, after everywhere else. They didn't even supply an exact date for Steam. It's also going to be a Stadia launch title, and one has to wonder what that deal looked like for them. We know the GTA Online is coming to PS Now, and as we covered in yesterday's Roundup episode, Sony CEO Jim Ryan said that basically it was a very good deal for Rockstar. Now, I've got to wonder, therefore, is their Stadia streaming deal similarly strong for them? Now, you may think that that's all the shenanigans going on with these dates, but you'd actually be wrong. The pre-order bonuses also skew massively towards the Rockstar Games Launcher, to the point where other ones are actually worse than they were on consoles. So, if you pre-order on the Rockstar Game Launcher, you'll get 2 Rockstar titles immediately for free from a selection of GTA 3, Vice City, San Andreas, Bully, LA Noire Complete, and Max Payne 3 Complete. You'll then also get a free upgrade to the premium edition of Red Dead Redemption 2, plus a $20 discount on the special and ultimate editions of the game. Now, these editions include some bonus content, with the ultimate edition having bonus online content. That's not all, though. They're also including the Outlaw Survival Kit, Warhorse Kit, Treasure Map, and cash bonus for the story mode, and then £18 worth of online mode premium currency. Now, bar that currency, that's actually the same as the console pre-orders, that sort of bonus content packs. So, that's their big exclusive pre-order. But what about the Epic Game Store pre-order? Well, in keeping with them basically making everything but their store seem like as bad an experience as they can, you'll only get $9 worth of premium currency, and you won't even get the in-game content pre-order bonuses that were included with the console version. Now, look, I never encourage pre-ordering, but I do think it's wild that the Epic Game Store pre-order is actually worse than the console release one, especially when you look at, the consoles being a 30% store cut and Epic being a 12% one. Now, if I was to say why, you'd say money, and you would be right, but we do need to take a deeper look at the specifics here. So, Red Dead Redemption 2 sold 17 million units during its first 2 weeks of launch. It then took almost a year for them to reach their, well, it's probably a bit more now, but total lifetime sales of about 25 million units. So, what does this tell us? Well, it's quite simple. People want to experience Red Dead Redemption 2 right as it launches as soon as they can. This makes, I think, complete sense for, for many it's a primarily single-player experience, so it comes out and yeah, you just want to play it. Now, from the sales data and what I think we can assume from their internal pre-order data, I think it's clear why they've went so hard on the exclusive pre-order period for the Rockstar Games Launcher. They don't want to get charged a store fee, and it's their own store, so knowing that the console audience actually jumped in that game pretty much as fast as they possibly could, they probably know that they can make this work. Put it this way, 5 million PC sales through their own launcher is equal in revenue to 5.6 million sales on Epic, or 6 million sales on Steam. So yeah, it's just an extra 600k to 1 million sales worth of revenue just for putting people through an alternative sales channel. Of course, it's one that they probably don't want to go to. So that really makes it clear why they're doing things like, giving people the games for free and having the pre-order period be early. At this stage, those games that they're giving away for free, they don't matter to Rockstar's bottom line at all, so they're just using them to sweeten that deal. I think psychologically it makes a lot of sense because it gives you a really tangible pre-order bonus that you can play immediately. Now, this all plays on the customer's desire to be a rational actor, and this is something that's actually used a lot by free-to-play mobile games to sling microtransactions. So many modern F2Ps have a premium currency store, but they have it be overpriced, and then they throw bundles and offers at the users. Now, these bundles are often literally a better value and are also time limited, and that makes the user feel like they're, them partaking is the smart thing to do, like they're a rational actor. This, of course, also uses a helping of FOMO as well, and also a concept called anchoring that's not really talked about that much. So anchoring is when a salesperson, or in this case maybe a free-to-play game, upfront sets the price pretty high in order to anchor user expectations. It's like going to a car dealership. The initial price listed on the car is not the one they're targeting, it's merely their anchor price. That is done to make getting anything better than the anchor price feel like a victory to the customer, even though, well, it's not really, and the anchor price was never their target. Now, in this case, Rockstar's anchor is basically how much worse of a deal that you'll get on Steam. It's such a bad experience, they've made it that way, but that's how they framed what many PC gamers will see to be the default PC gaming experience. So for Rockstar, the ideal thing is getting that person moved over to their own launcher, but if that doesn't happen, maybe they'll get them on Epic, and for Rockstar, that would be a win as compared to Steam. Now, going back to the idea of their business model being vertically integrated, I think that, there's also large implications on the lifetime value of a customer who is driven through the Rockstar Game Launcher. So, if a GTA Online player on PS4 purchases shark cards through Sony, then Sony get 30% of that revenue. Now, to give you an example of another market here, we've got, say, Apple Music versus Spotify. Now, if a Spotify subscription is done through the App Store, then Apple get 30% as their cut. Actually, I think it's a bit less than 30% for subscriptions, but you get the drift, right? There's a store cut. Apple Music, though, is Apple's. It doesn't have that problem, and that makes Apple better able to compete on price on their platform, which, of course, they already benefit massively from. This is why you see Amazon actually not selling Kindle or Audible content on the App Store, with the Kindle and Audible apps purely just being viewers. And we see the same thing with gaming here. A console user who spends $60 on Red Dead 2 and then a lifetime spend of $100 on an online currency, they will generate $160 of revenue, with 70% of that reaching Take-Two's pockets, so $112. However, a PC user who has the exact same spend but on the Rockstar launcher, well, they'll generate the full $160 of revenue. Now, do know that Red Dead Online has not entered its growth phase yet, with it being labeled as a beta for most of its life, and I think clearly here Rockstar want to establish as large a Rockstar Game Launcher audience as they can, knowing that assuming equal spend, they will have a lifetime value that's 30% higher than consoles, 20% higher than on Steam, and 12% higher than on Epic. And that's not even taking into account the multiplicative effect that it will have on their other games' revenue if a user, say, comes into the Rockstar launcher for one game and just continues spending on all of them. Now, Take-Two have been in a very interesting spot as a company, with Red Dead 2 sales slightly underperforming analysts' insane predictions, Red Dead Online also underperforming those predictions, and Borderlands 3 also underperforming some of the more outlandish forecasts, leading to a minor stock dip. Now, that's all insane considering how successful each of those titles has been, but I think really here we can see, well, I think you can see why they'd want to move towards their own launcher here. That will be seen by investors as them kind of building the foundations of their business a bit better, enhancing their future profitability. Part of those inflated analyst expectations could have been down to GTA 5, which actually doubled initial predictions, like initial forecasts. So perhaps that ended up just setting the analysts up for disappointment later. Anyway, it is an interesting situation here, and I think there's a lot of business stuff to analyze that I think is worth everyone knowing. And fundamentally, it just boils down to this whole situation being less to do with what you pay and more to do with what they get. And that is a topic that has dominated industry trends and industry discussion throughout 2019. And I anticipate it's one that's going to persist for quite some time indeed, as these various different companies compete with each other. And I've got to wonder if we see more things like the Rockstar Game Store. Yeah, are we going to see Steam drop their fee? Maybe Epic drop their fee? Are we going to see some changes there? I've got to wonder, because clearly this is something that's not going to stop, especially with the larger franchises who are in a position where, frankly, they're so big, they just feel like they have enough weight that they can pull a Rockstar and put it all on their own launcher. Anyways, interesting as all that has been, I'm sure it will be, well, pretty cool to have Red Dead 2 on PC by all accounts. It's a pretty darn fantastic game. Personally, I think I'm going to wait for the Steam release because that's what suits me, but if you're planning anything different, do let me know down below, and just generally let me know down below what you think of this topic. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, and with that, I will see you next time.